Quads are my new glutes this year, and I'll tell you why in today's vlog. Hello and welcome back. This is one of my most requested content ever. You shall ask and I will deliver. If you haven't met before, I'm Prang. I talk about food, fitness and productivity and also a healthy lifestyle. I'm a very big foodie who loves lifting. I started weightlifting seriously in 2024 and I saw significant progress in less than a year. Then injuries happened. My left knee has been off for a long time. It's almost felt like niggles and stiffness. So I just kept brushing it off and I thought I was fine until obviously I couldn't really brush it off anymore. And that changed everything. And today I'll walk you through my week of workouts, how I rebuilt my strength, knee injuries and what caused it, my rehab and prehab routine. I'll be sharing my gym progress regularly in this vlog series, so please be sure to subscribe and let's get into my week of workouts. My current split is 3-day weightlifting and with 2 days cardio, 1 lower body, 1 upper body and 1 full body. What I like about this program is it's simple but effective. 5 to 6 exercises each session, some in supersets, hitting all muscle groups with warm-ups, warm-up sets and stretching. I love doing dynamic stretchings before workouts, just to kind of relieve and warming up those muscles and joints rather than doing static stretching, which is something that I would recommend doing after the workout. I like to start my week strong with a lower body session, which is the session that I normally prioritize. This is the session that I always look forward to doing the most. This new program includes more quad focused movements to balance our muscle imbalances. Today, I increased my weight for a single leg extension to 17.5 kilo. It wasn't too hard, but I'm pacing myself not to progress too quickly. I focused on eccentric contraction, which is when I lower my leg down and then my muscle gets stretched, and I would go as slow as I could. We're moving to step ups. I love step ups and this is such a great exercise for glutes, but this time I didn't lean forward like I would to target my glutes. Basically, I focused on not letting my knee cave in. The side of my legs are weak, so they tend to shift a little bit inwards. So this is the focus that I aim to get better each time, going higher and stronger with control while also keeping my knee straight and hip open. There's no need for me to use a high step. Let's just start very slow and take my time as long as I need. Today I felt great, so I feel like I could challenge myself a little bit. So I stuck the step a little bit higher on the last 2 sets. High bar squat is another great quad focus variation. I stuck with 35 kilo for now as my previous session as I was pacing myself. Overall, I felt great, the form was good, my chest stayed up, facing forward, but I was a little bit wobbly because I kind of lower too fast. Next time I have to remind myself to counting 2 seconds down and then stay at the bottom before pushing up for better control. Lastly, hip extension and cable side kicks. I love these two so much because they really target the glutes, and obviously I still train my glutes because that is one of my main focuses, but I just balance everything out with having more of the quads variations, but obviously still left the gym feeling glutes on fire with these 2 exercises. And day 2 of my week, it is on Wednesday. I woke up feeling tired but still made it. Some days I feel strong, some days I don't, and that's very, very normal. Well, it depends on sleep, stress and my cycle, so don't stress or don't feel like you don't make any progress or you regress just because you can't go heavier or you don't lift as good as last time. What's more important is that I showed up with good intention to perform the best that I can on that day. This is like a good mindset to keep. My pull-ups are getting there. I'm hoping to go band free by the end of this year, and I'm sure that I'll be able to achieve it. I lifted heavier here than the previous sessions and the control wasn't as good because the heavier weight, but that is okay because the most important part is that I remain in good form. And same as the rows, I made sure to go full range of motion. When you kind of lower your arms down, you have to stretch all the way down to feel like the stretch across your back and your lats, and then squeezing my lats and between shoulder blades when rowing back. Leg raises, my arms were done by now, so I had to pause a lot, but finished the session nice and strong. The last training day is my full body on Friday, so I went to the office on Thursday and I'm always tired the day after. But here I am finishing the week strong. I'm pleased with my RDLs today. I lifted 45 kilo. Wrist straps are my lifesaver. If you find your arms give up during lower body session, consider getting them because it will help you with the grip. That's always the issues, right? Like when your grips aren't as strong as your legs. The key for good RDLs is that instead of thinking about lowering down, thinking about sending your hips back, hinging at the hip, and to make sure that you keep your dumbbells or barbells close to your body. And the cue is you think of grazing the bar or grazing the dumbbell against the front of your shin. To be honest, I was a bit distracted today. I had a lot on my mind and I had to remind myself to stay focused. For leg press, this low feet position targets the quads. Today, I stay at 25 kilo and focused on working my range of motion. The goal is to bring my legs as close to my chest as possible. Today, I felt like my bum kind of hovered up a little bit, so I really had to pressing my body back to the seat. But it is something to improve and I'm very pleased with the progress today. For lateral lunges, this one is really good for my thigh glutes. I've noticed tightness on my left hip for a while and also the right inner thigh. So you can see here that I couldn't seem to step out at the same distance on each side. I think I have to consider stretching my inner thighs a little bit more to help myself to be able to perform lower range of motion for lateral lunges. My inclined press felt so strong today. During my sessions, instead of chasing heavier weights, I set my intention to hit one more rep. I just keep this mantra in my head. Just one more. Even if it's just like half a rep, just one more. And trust me, this is a game changer for your progress. And for cardio, I usually do running these days. I would do cardio for about 30 to 40 minutes, and that's basically my week of workouts. So the reason why my coach and I designed this routine, and especially with the lower body session to target the quad specifically, is to treat my dodgy knee and foot problems. Earlier, my knee had been off for a long time, even before I started weightlifting. Towards the end of last year, I developed foot pain to the point that it made me limp when I walk. So I went to see a physiologist in Thailand when I went home earlier in December, and just to get it checked up. So my main issues caused by, firstly, flat feet. I have flat feet, and people with flat feet tend to overpronate, which means your feet just kind of roll inward. Also, the arches on my feet are collapsing, which basically affecting my posture and also my weight distribution when I walk or when I stand, and basically everything that come from the ground. And secondly, my kneecaps are loose, which I don't know why and how until I realized that it's because my quads muscle are pretty weak. The muscle around the kneecaps are weak, and therefore it doesn't have enough strength to hold my kneecaps in position. And thirdly, I have overactive IT band. An IT band is, I will put a full name on the screen because I don't know how to pronounce that word. IT band is basically a tendon that run across the side of my hip down to the knee joints. And what happened is that because of the flat feet, because of the weight distribution, I just keep overusing the IT band, and my body is used to using the IT band, activating this part of my leg all the time. This compensates my weak quads and also prevent my quads to actually start building the muscle. When I try to do any kind of quad exercise, I happen to just use my IT bands more, and therefore my quads didn't get to grow as much as I thought. And obviously when one part of the muscle or one part of the tendon is overused, gets inflamed, and therefore my kneecap that is loose just basically move and rub against the IT band that caused the pain. The last issue is the weak side glutes. So I didn't have enough support and strength to keep my hips open. So when I do exercises like steps up, instead of keeping my hips open and my knee pointing straight forward, which I think I did, but it's not enough. After my session with my physiologist, it was really insightful, and I was surprised to find this out, because majority of this has nothing to do with weightlifting per se, but it all comes from my body structure, my anatomy, and my physical foundation. And the pain only flare up because I now add more pressure to my body by lifting heavier and heavier, and those issues become even more and more prominent. But doesn't mean that weightlifting caused these injuries. The issue has always been there. It's just that I never found it because I didn't lift, I didn't use my body as much. And in fact, strength training is one of the solutions to help me treat these symptoms and to be able to cope with these issues. That's why I worked with my coach to tailor these programs targeting the muscle groups that didn't previously get enough attention. So apart from the strength training, which we already covered, so we're moving on to my rehab and prehab routine. So to treat these issues, I started doing rehab and prehab exercises as advised. So an overall picture is that I have to stretch my leg, my calf, my ankle, and my feet to release all these tight muscles, because everything is connected and is more connected than you imagine. So I have to really focus on stretching out and be consistent with it, and not just be like, oh, I'm gonna do this after my workout and then I'm done. I also found out that I start losing my balance. My ankles, it doesn't have enough flexibility and balance to hold the weight. So when I run, my ankle isn't well trained or well supported in a way that I can run without causing any more injuries. A foam roller is a really great tool to help massage and release that tight muscle, especially on the side of my leg, which is the IT band. So this is recommended by my physiologist to use that to really targeting that overworked IT band. And by releasing the tight muscles around the IT band will help my quads to be able to work more. So I got myself a foam roller. Another great one is a massage ball like this that I just got from Amazon. I just use this to massage on my feet, press basically around the arches. And to be honest, it is so painful, but I feel like the pain from, the injury is so much worse than the pain from using a foam roller. And obviously, alongside with the strength training program that specifically targeting these muscle groups that requires attention. I've done this for about a month now, and I feel like I definitely see progress, even if it's gradual. You have to give it some time, but I can definitely see some improvement. And as preventative measures, I also need to invest in proper footwear that are suitable for my body and my feet and training types. For example, getting stability trainers is a must for people with flat feet, because these stability trainers provide the highest cushioning feature. They're designed to help with overpronation, and therefore even if these shoes, for example the one that I just got, they're described as trainers for long distance running, which is definitely not me. And normally that I wouldn't go to get these shoes because one, they're expensive, and two, they're described as something that I'm not. I'm definitely not going to be a long distance runner, but it's perfect for me. They have the high support, and then they're great for cushions. And the tip to see which trainer is suitable or has high stability is when you kind of prop them down vertically, and then you try to fold the trainer in together, and then you can't, because the shoes are the foam and the platforms is pretty solid, so you can't really bend or fold the shoes at all. These are the shoes that you definitely should prioritize getting these shoes over the neutral one, where you can still bend and still fold around. They might be on more of an expensive side, but I think this is the investment that I should prioritize because it will definitely help me in the long term. So I hope this will be helpful and insightful for you. And obviously, if you would like me to have another gym vlog where I focus more on the rehab and prehab part, and please just let me know and drop me the comments below. If you ask me, like, do I see this as setbacks? No, I don't really think so. I think this is an opportunity to relearn my body and to shift my mindset. I want to build glutes and I want to have great muscle definition, but it was all about that. I must admit that, there were some points that I was a little bit hesitant to train quads. I was, didn't want to train quads as much because I didn't want my quads to look meaty. And I think that is just something that echoing in kind of this health and fitness space a little bit, that, obviously glutes and hamstring are the beauty of this era and quads and meaty thighs are not. But I realized that obviously it's not that easy for you to make your quad that meaty to begin with. Obviously, now that with this injury happened, it just slapped me back to the reality that every muscle matters. I just want to be clear that there's nothing wrong with you wanting to build your muscle to achieve certain physique and appearance. I still, build my muscle just to obviously have the dream body of my life. But this incident and this injuries also slapped me back and reminded me that strength training is also about longevity and a way to optimize my body's function. If you feel any pain, don't just push it off. If it's more than just like niggles or stiffness that doesn't go away in a few days or in a couple of weeks, please go seek professional advice and see a physiologist. I know that this is not always something that you would come up and think that, oh, okay, I'm gonna go to see a physiologist, and obviously it comes with a cost and they're not cheap, and this is not the service that is provided by NHS per se. So maybe you can start with going to see your GP, and then maybe you can get yourself referred to a physiologist at a hospital. But if you can't afford, then I would recommend you to go see a physiologist just to get it checked up. And even if you feel fine, at some point I think it would be really eye-opening for you to go see a physiologist and understand more about your body, because this is something that you've grown with and you're used to using body in certain ways. Doesn't mean that it is the optimal way of how a body and anatomy should be. And my physiologist just told me that our bodies love to be comfortable, obviously like anyone else, like it wants to be comfortable. So even if I think that my hip position like this is comfortable, but it's actually not correct, and sometimes we need to force it to be in a little bit uncomfortable position to be able to preserve, increase the longevity of our body. And lastly, what I want to share is that if you are experiencing and going through injuries, then please give yourself some time. Just be kind to yourself. Stick with the rehab and prehab routine. 1% at a time is going to help. And obviously, if you can do more and more and incorporate it into your routine, eventually you will feel better and then you will recover. With all that said, here's to why quads is my new glutes this year. Thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments below if you experience anything similar, and even if not, let me know if you enjoy and would like to see more. I'll see you in my next gym vlog very, very soon. Bye!